And we're back. I'm your host, BKP. We are at Blue Jeans Pizza in Blue Ridge, Georgia. It's time for the All-Star panel. I'm here with Rick and Bruce. Glad to have you back, Bruce.
Good to be back.
Glad to have you back.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Okay.
It is a happy Friday.
It's a happy Friday now that we got all the pleasantries out of the way, okay? So you think it's a cigar? I think it's a cigar. I think we have to order a whole box if we go into the.
Should I tell him that?
Huh?
Should I tell him that?
Yeah.
We're blaming. We're gonna blame the cigar on the two big wins.
Well, we had the right cigar.
Blame's the not choice of
Oh,
word.
folks! By the way, he's not only Rick; he's the Cub fan. Now, I almost
got my Cubby Blue on.
I almost
today.
had to call the home office on you.
Oh
last
boy!
night. I'm not going to tell him.
I walked 14 miles last night in my family room. I had the pedometer on last night.
Carpet guy coming today to replace it.
Yeah.
It's the wear mark.
Yeah, called the tracks of my tears.
Folks, obviously we have the Cub fan
Yes,
here.
sir. We got two Cub fans.
I know you're a Cub fan.
I don't have all the paraphernalia. I'm not a club manager.
Yeah.
It's Cub fan.
The
I mean,
Cub.
I did that a year ago. You were nowhere around when I did that.
Holy
right?
cow! Cubs
Yeah.
Holy cow.
That's right. Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!
Last night, you know what I like? I'm sorry. Well, if we have some national fans, I'm just going to throw it out there to you. I am so glad that you're getting broke in because, you need heartache. I mean, they need heartache, right?
Yeah, well,
go to Cleveland.
No, I mean, do you understand? You're a Cubs fan. Do you understand heartache?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes.
100 years.
I'm a Yankees fan. I understand heartache. We understand losing. We understand. I mean, there is always that time where, the big red machine that I hated when I was a kid, but I had to respect, and they swept the Yankees in 4 straight games.
1970.
Remember the Bruins?
Yeah, right.
All right, so, hey, we Nationals fans, we're sorry.
Heartache seems to walk hand in hand with Dusty Baker. That's the.
Well,
he's kind of.
Has he never won a postseason series? I heard some statistic.
I think you're right. I'm pretty
well,
sure.
last night, it's like I tell people.
With a lot of teams.
They scored 8 runs. The other team scored 9.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
It's the bottom line. Okay?
4 hours and 37 minutes, the longest league 9-inning game in the history of.
The national fans had so much heartache last night. The split second, I mean, this is not even 2 seconds in time that this guy's foot jumps off the bag.
Boop, boop.
This much. It wasn't an inch. I mean, but you could see it in the replay, and the glove is on the leg. The catcher, the strikeout, the strikeout's supposed to be easy. The catcher's supposed to throw it down to first, but he decided to throw it to the right fielder. He thought first was out in right field, and he throws it to the right fielder. Next thing you know, another run is scored.
And then they had that pass ball thing where
that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. But they were trying to make some claim that the batter's bat hit the helmet of the catcher, and that was some.
Well, then the catcher had catcher interference.
That's catcher interference. Then.
No, he put the glove. He hit the glove with his catcher interference last night.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
catcher. Yeah. And then, the left fielder, he's usually pretty sure, all the way to the wall.
Can you do that again?
All the way to the wall.
You can't do that.
Roll back the tape.
You're just going to roll back the tape. Are we supposed to talk politics?
I don't know, but I got the box score right here if you want to talk any further.
Actually, you know what? We're actually talking, MSNBC would do better just talking baseball than lying. Okay, wait.
I told Bruce today, we got a potential of a road trip ahead of us. Ooh. Wouldn't that be nice?
Easy there. Ooh. Pump the brakes there. Wait a minute. We
gotta fly the W again.
Yeah, we gotta get past some things.
Yeah, like the Dodgers and like the Astros.
Yeah, that's exactly what we just said. We're thinking out of the box here a little bit into the future of a Yankee Cubs road trip, but we're waiting. So
the only thing those teams are guaranteed are 4 more games. Think about that.
All right, seriously, before we get into the politics side, because I got some pet of the week and I got some Friday night football. But before we do get into that, I know true baseball fan, you Cubs fan, but still yet you respect your opponent. What do you think it's like going up against LA?
I mean, LA was lights out at the beginning of the season. They had a tough stretch toward the end there when Cleveland got hot, but they are a solid club.
What do you like about the Cubs this year that is different from the World Series Cubs of last year?
Bullpen.
Bullpen?
Yeah, Wade Davis has been really, really. I mean, look at last night. That's the first time this year that he's gone more than 4 outs as a closer.
Right.
And he sucked it up, and I think he threw 44 pitches, something like that.
Yeah, but the other relievers, I mean, you could say he used a lot of pitchers last night.
Well, he did. It was, what they refer to as Johnny Allstaff, right, Richie? Johnny Allstaff came in. That means that every pitcher on the bench, had a shot at this one.
Well, I will tell you this. Here's what I like about the Yankees this year. They're not supposed to be there. Young team.
Very young team.
Young team. There's no Jeters. There's no Derek Jeters on there. There's no
Aaron Judge. Though.
Huh?
You do have an Aaron Judge.
Yeah. Oh, did you see him sky over that wall this high?
Boy, he stands at the plate. It looks
Right?
like Land of the Giants.
But still, yet there's no Derek Jeter on there. There's back in the day. There's no Mike Messina on the hill. There's no who was the lefty that really Pettit. There's no Pettit on the mound.
Andy.
So you got a young team that's not figured to be in the field of play. But there's 2 things that I loved about this division series. First of all, down 0-2.
Wow.
So they win 3 in a row.
That's big.
And one
In
game,
Cleveland.
In Cleveland. And one game that I just loved was Tanaka's 7 full innings was masterful. He reminds me of a Mike Messina. Remember, Messina had like 15 pitches, and 9 of them he invented himself, and he may have invented a pitch before the game, so you don't know. Remember
it's the same way as
Tanaka has, what, a 10 in pitches?
It's just amazing, and he changes up his delivery every time. You never know where it's coming.
So Tanaka had 7 masterful pitches. And then who's the guy coming in that's throwing 103? What's his name, Richie, that's coming in? What's his name? Huh?
Yeah. He was the closer for the Cubs last year.
Right. He's coming in and throwing 103, and I'm like, oh, man, because I'm used to Mariano Rivera coming in, and you knew when he came in. So there's a lot of difference there with the
sinker.
And then the next night, which, what's the manager's name? Girardi has Tanaka. He throws 7 masterful innings. It's a 1-0 game. That's the way it ends. Bullpen, boom, it's over. The next night they have to work through it, and I love that. CC comes in 4 3/4 inning, 9 strikeouts. What is he? 39 years old. Reminds me of David Wells. Remember, David Wells looked like he just had a couple beers and 3 hot dogs. Remember that?
Yeah. Every team used to have one of those.
Yeah,
guys.
Wells looked like he just he was playing headbanging music. Had 3 hot dogs.
You don't remember early win from the White Sox, do you? Boy,
No.
I'll tell you.
But so anyhow,
It's too early for him.
Yeah, I know.
CC comes in. I think he's 39, right? Masterful game, although it's 4 2/3 inning. Remind me of the old days of when Torrey would tell what's his name, Cone. He would tell Cone, "Get me 4.5 innings." Remember, David?
That's all I need, David.
Yeah, David, give me 4.5 innings, right? So there's so many resemblance of some Yankees from the past, but whole new group of guys. So
there's one guy that you overlook. You probably didn't overlook him, but Brett Gardner. Brett Gardner is old school baseball.
Yes.
And I think he's a really good influence on that young clubhouse. I mean, that at bat that he had was unbelievable at the end of that game. And then what did he do? Doubles in,
Yes.
2 runs.
Right.
That at bat was classic, old school Brett Gardner. Fouls off. What do you have? 15 pitches or something like that.
Worked it, man.
I mean, he worked it.
He worked that till
it was fabulous.
But the thing on that one is 4.5, and then Girardi has to work that bullpen, just keep them guys coming and until he got through the game. So
And remember how much heat he took for game 2. That he didn't make the switch when everyone thought he should have.
Yeah, right.
How come they're allowing 3 National League teams in the playoffs?
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. You did that on purpose.
I know. Just kind of opened the door.
I'll give you a segue. Let's talk about the U.S. men's national team not making the World Cup for the first time in 30 plus years.
And what did they play?
Football, man. Football.
Bruce, I'll let you know when to get back in here. I was almost done. Anyhow, Yankees, I was saying the Yankees are playing the Houston National League team, and we'll see. So obviously, we're pulling for the Cubs, we're pulling for the Yankees, and
the Cubs.
And Bruce is playing soccer. So you want to give us a soccer update real quick, Bruce?
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. had it. They were virtually assured of getting to the World Cup. They played Trinidad and Tobago. All they had to do was draw, start off with an own goal. Then the Trinidad scores another goal, 2-0 at half. They get one back, and that was it. Game over.
And then someone else lost that was predicted to win.
Were you able to see my I care face? Did I?
I'm sorry, folks. This is a tough crew.
I care. I care. I really care.
First time in over 30 years that they're not going to be in the World Cup. But hey, and Fox just signed a big.
Are they in the National League or the American?
Yeah, that's right.
It's U.S. men's national.
Hey, who do we pull for now? Mexico? Our neighbors to the south? Didn't they win that division?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they came in
going away.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, folks, I'm not going to be negative to our soccer friends and. Go ahead, Bruce.
Now, Iceland, a country of 340,000 people, they qualified. So let's pull for Iceland.
Did this really bother you?
Hey, no, we can get on to politics now.
What do you have?
I guess I can put my box score away, huh?
Yeah, put your box score away. What do we have on politics?
Well, you said something the other day when we were talking about when you were talking about Trump in a room and the fake news with the nuclear proliferation.
Tenfold, right?
Tenfold, yeah. I'm hopeful that we didn't go over this once before.
We probably did.
What's that?
We probably did.
I'm sure we did. But there's a little excerpt.
There's room for reiterating the truth.
Reiterating, yeah. There's a little excerpt out of Newt Gingrich's book, Understanding Trump, which I think dovetails exactly what you said. And if you'll just indulge me. In Washington, if you can name the capitals of 42 countries, you're thought of as a sophisticated person. If you know the appropriate wine to drink in each of those countries, you're a superstar.
Whoa.
Whether that information is useful is secondary concern to displaying that you know stuff. Therefore, you must belong in the club. Trump is exactly the opposite. He makes certain he knows what he needs to know to be successful at the time he needs to know it. That is the entrepreneurial approach to knowledge rather than the academic one. In fact, in stark contrast to the Washington intelligentsia, that is how most Americans learn, when they are motivated out of a need to accomplish something. That literally embodies what he did in that meeting. He had, a dozen people in there, and he went around to each one.
You ask a circle of questions, and when this person gives you something and it makes you think, it'll make you think of what you wanted to ask that person.
Exactly.
And I appreciate that, because their litmus test of your level of intelligence and understanding and so on and so forth, they don't know. If you go in a room and you really don't know the details on something, you can push this way, and you can get the circle of conversation where you understand it. So let's say the guy did say, let's say he said, well, what if we increase tenfold? Is that something that is talked about or anything? I mean, then you get the conversation. No, it's not necessary, Mr. President. We wouldn't need to do that. We could do this and modernize this, and it would be equivalent to that. He's learning.
But the takeaway from the coffee server was, I got to call somebody because they're getting ready to up the ante by 10.
And I'm glad you said coffee server, because the guy says, hey, I brought the coffee. Oh, I better rush it out and call the New York Times.
That's right.
So, I mean, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I've decided that it's a bottom line. It's either or. Either this group is the biggest liars, or this group. There's no middle of the road, because all I've heard is the takedown of this cabinet. First of all, Tillerson was, hates Trump, and Tillerson's going to quit, and he's calling him a moron and everything like that. But Tillerson comes out and does a press conference and says, hey, I'm not going to lower myself to discuss this. One, the president's an intelligent man, and I work for the president, and I'm not going anywhere. So either he's lying, right?
Right.
And then yesterday, Kelly comes out.
Says the same thing in so many words.
Yeah, says the same thing in so many words. I'm working for the president of the United States. And I keep thinking, these are smart people, so I think they know what they're going into when they say, yeah, I'm interested in the job.
Yeah.
They know the guy. Yeah. Look at how much airtime has Secretary of Defense Mattis gotten when he said that those comments in that meeting did not take place, the tenfold. Any airtime?
No.
Any airtime? But he said it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was interesting, too, what Kelly followed up with and said, this is the toughest job I've ever had.
Yes, it is.
He said the best job I ever had was being a Marine Corps gunny. I think he said, a master sergeant.
Yeah.
But this is the toughest job I've ever had, and it's the hardest I've ever worked. He said, I'm not going anywhere.
Well, with all the personalities, I mean, it's like herding cats.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's a tough job, and then, all the press that you get, all the stupid stuff from the press.
What about, stupid stuff from the press?
That's redundant.
Is that the lead on your room? I just want one comment on what Rick said. Former President Barack Obama was so in the club, sat so well. He knew more than the capitals of 42 countries. He knew that we had 57 states.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't beat that stuff.
Remember that? I'll never forget that.
Bruce, I gotta
57
give it to you. 57 states.
He did.
The worst part is he knew all their capitals.
That's right.
He was able to name the capitals of those extra ones.
That's right. Nowhereistan.
Yeah, he just grew up in a world where they just supersize things.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the Constitution in this touchy area where the president has treaded into. Obviously, president cannot. We don't have a license for NBC, but affiliates have FCC license. They have a license. But his comment concerning, we should look at pulling their license. Is it okay? Freedom of the press, because freedom of what we do. Okay, we have the freedom. Look at that camera. We have the freedom to discuss this. We are very clear that this is our opinion for 30, 40 minutes on Friday mornings. But is it okay for these major, massive networks that have the power to manipulate the people to out and out sit and lie the way they do? Now, I for one don't like to admit it, but I watch Morning Joe every morning at 6.
Yeah, but you do it for another reason.
Exactly. So I can say when Trump says this, I watched it for myself.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that's the background. I mean, like, you have the ability and the freedom to watch all this. So, MSNBC or, pick the bad guy of the week.
CNN.
Yeah, I mean, you have that freedom to watch them. So I don't think, putting a stop on that is something that's going to happen.
Yeah, but wait a minute now. You don't watch every day. Now, don't take that wrong. You don't watch every day. This is a concerted effort by major networks that have power to bring our government down. And it's as you may say, wait a minute, you're really stretching this. No, their effort is to bring our form of government down.
Are they going with that effort to the low information voter? Is that what you're saying? I mean, that those people will get swayed such that there'll be
I do this for a living.
Political uprising in the lower classes?
I do this for a living. I'm looking at the mom, the dad that's rushing off to work that just turned on the TV, and it happened to be, they were watching the ball game last night, so ABC Good Morning America or whatever channel, that's the channel it was on.
They're turning on their morning noise.
And they're getting the 10, 15 minutes, and they're not quite have the time to filter through. You got when I say understand, you got to think when you've got people that are talking for hours about this man being unfit to serve. Mm-hmm. You're having actual people talk on a daily basis wanting to test or have his psychological evaluation done. These are people that brought up, is it the 25th Amendment, that are reading the 25th Amendment and want to know if the cabinet's going to come together and present a petition to the House of Representatives to remove this man.
Well, Al Green, a guy from a Democrat from Texas, introduced articles.
He can do that.
Yeah, happened.
But I'm talking about media, this is a media group that went to Puerto Rico and lied. I have friends in Puerto Rico that sent me messages. They sent me messages from Puerto Rico, said, please do not believe CNN. Please do not believe this. I mean, it doesn't matter what the situation is. These people are on a daily basis lying, not bringing us information. I don't know.
My theory is there's always been fake news.
All right, I'll go with that.
It just has not been called fake news because no one has ever challenged the mainstream media in the past until Trump came along. Trump's the first one that never has been able to give the media the last word. In the past, they've always had the last word. So people think, well, no one challenged it, I guess it must be right. Now he's challenging it, and now everybody says, and he's calling it fake news. And you know what? You do the research, it tends to be fake news.
And I think it's gotten much more pervasive. I mean, through the 90s.
No question about that as well. You're correct.
Up till now, I mean, it's gotten worse and worse and worse.
Right.
I mean, and look at what they teach kids, starting in kindergarten all the way through college now. I mean, so you're getting a whole cohort of people that think like this.
I was in a meeting with a lady yesterday that went 2 days ago, and I didn't call to find out how it went. And this is in another state. I'll just say in North Carolina. The lady was supposed to go to the school yesterday because they're going to say making their kids watch CNN. Well, right, in the school. Mm-hmm. And she's very upset because there was 2 questions that came home on a thing that they're asking these little kids. Should you kneel? Is it okay to kneel for the national anthem or not? This was on a questionnaire, right? And there was another question, I forget the question, but the one on the national anthem. This is a kid comes home, homework. One of the is it okay? Is it freedom of speech to kneel? All right, for the national anthem.
Yeah.
All right, this is the kind of stuff. And the mother's upset because the TVs are all on CNN. Well, CNN has provided all the TVs, so the schools, your airports,
same as airports, yeah,
right? They provide the TVs, but one of the rules is you got to keep it on CNN. Mm-hmm. Really, really, and we have government schools that take our tax money, but they got to keep the TV on CNN. All right,
it's pervasive.
So I'm okay with him challenging. I'm very big on the First Amendment. I think what they have to do is stop me. They got to stop the internet. Mm-hmm. Because as soon as I hear something on MSNBC, boom, I research it. Or I tell my audience start researching it. And you research it. And you research. And they just don't have us. We're the ones we have to put a stop to. That's my opinion. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
What I always say, if you go and you start the fire, you light the place on fire, then you call the fire engine, and you report it, and you follow the fire truck to the fire, take the pictures of the fire, and then report the fire. Are you a journalist? Are you
an arsonist?
A newsmaker. You're a newsmaker.
I mean,
newsmaker hotline.
Okay, let's move to healthcare. Let me just
shifting gears.
Newsmaker can be.
Should I call this? I don't know if this is called bragging.
Oh, I know where you're going with this one. I won't give it away.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay, I don't know if this is bragging, but I told you stay with Rand Paul. Did I say stay with Rand every day? Right?
Yep.
Whatever happens, stay with Senator Rand Paul. I told you that. I told you today that Trump and Rand Paul went and played golf. I have watched the media do everything they can to get Senator Rand Paul to say or go negative against the president. He never did. Yesterday, Rand Paul standing there and basically got the biggest part of what he wanted with the President of the United States. Do you like what happened yesterday?
I do. I absolutely do. He's taking it back to him. He's taking it back to both the Democrats and the Republicans. Saying, if you're not going to do anything, I'm going to do something, and we're going to keep this. We're going to keep this ball rolling. Now, either get on the bandwagon or go home.
What say you?
Well, I think he started things because basically it was, you know, big headlines things, but basically he said these agencies that are in charge of insurance and all that have to start working on it. So it's not going to be, you know, insurance across state lines today. So I think he's starting the ball rolling. But I think, I don't know if it was this morning or it was part of what he did yesterday with the cutting the subsidies to the insurance companies. I don't know if that happened yesterday.
The CSRs.
Yes.
The cost sharing reduction.
That gets the insurance company's attention.
That gets,
and
yes, that
the
gets
base's
everybody.
attention.
That gets everybody's attention,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes,
but
sir.
what I would like to have happen in school, here's what I'd like to have happen in school in our public education system, which our tax dollars go to, instead of asking the kids about the right to protest and kneel toward the national anthem, actually teach the kids the function of government and how it works. Like the House appropriates the funds, and how it was against the law for the CSRs, cost sharing reduction payments, to be made because they were not appropriated. Period.
Yeah, exactly.
And it went to court, and a court said it was against the law, right?
Correct.
So now all of a sudden this morning, instead of the CNNs and the MSNBC, it is Trump slashed yesterday the CSRs, and it's going to hurt his base, and it's going to hurt poor people, and all these things is going to happen. Why don't they stand up at the chalkboard and say, here's how our founding fathers laid out the government. These people get to spend the money.
Yeah.
This court over here said the balance is the court. Court said this is wrong, right?
Exactly. Yep. That's all he's doing.
Yes.
Now that's not going to do. That's probably not even going to. That's going to be challenged.
What?
You know it's going to be challenged.
Oh,
Yeah, but here's the thing I like.
New
is
York and California attorneys generals have already come out and said they're going to sue.
Here's what I like. First of all, I don't know if you pick up. I like the guy. Okay. I like the guy.
Who, Rand Paul?
Both Paul and Rand Paul. Rand Paul
And the
went,
Donald.
And the Donald. Paul went up a couple notches, and I'm going to tell you, I've studied the Donald. I studied the Donald. I'm doing better than most of these people. You heard that?
Yeah.
I studied this guy. Let me tell you what I love about this guy is the freaking nerve he has. He goes on there yesterday, and I'm waiting for somebody to say something. The closest we came to really taking on the media was when Newt Gingrich took them on in South Carolina in that primary debate that night.
Yeah.
When he just really...
That was Megyn Kelly,
right,
wasn't it?
right. But that was the closest we've really come to somebody since Trump. But here's the thing I really enjoyed is he had the nerve to say exactly what I want. Look, Puerto Rico was in a mess before this hurricane came through. They had no infrastructure before the hurricane came through. We cannot keep FEMA there indefinitely to rebuild their infrastructure under the guise of recovery.
Yeah.
Did he call it right out?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I love that.
And of course, Mayor Nasty, though, is going, oh, you're leaving people to die, and you know this and that. And I think a lot of Americans look at that and say, fine, you know, you're going to get help in the beginning, but pull yourself up by your own bootstraps.
Okay, I don't know what your final thought is today.
Yeah.
We're already to that point?
Yeah, we have to. I got to talk high school football. I got a pet of the week.
Jeez.
I mean, well, you know, we could go. I didn't tell us to spend the first 15 minutes on baseball, but I did participate.
Is Jason in the house?
I just sat here, you know.
Yeah. We got Jason in the house.
Yeah, I participated, but I didn't say. But I want to say now, I'm hoping. I'm trying to get this back and forth with you. See if I'm telepathically if it's working. I'm hoping that you're going to discuss the EPA in clean energy and how the Donald kept another promise.
No, I wasn't going to talk about that at all.
I just thought you might. Just something told me he would bring that up. How about you?
No.
You don't have to bring that up, but what do you have, sir?
Well,
He's always
Now
got
that
the
you
folder.
ask.
I know, he's got the orange folder.
Yeah, I will tell you this. People are curious.
Yeah.
They see him with the folder.
You know, orange
He has
is
charts
orange is
and-
someone's favorite. Is
Yeah, and
it
he has
someone's
charts.
favorite?
Can I get a word in?
He has charts and graphs.
I'm just going to read a little bit. This is from a journal thing. It says, while a barrel's worth of oil weighs just over 300 pounds, it can be stored in a $40 tank. The equivalent amount of energy in the kind of batteries that Tesla uses in their car weighs several tons and costs several $100,000 to engineer it and do it. So the whole thing with electric cars is they're going to be a minor part of the automotive industry in the U.S. for years, decades to come, because there's just nothing in the engineering of batteries that's going to produce a light battery anytime in our lifetime. So they'll be a part of it because the government is forcing it, but at the end of the day, internal combustion engines are going to rule for decades.
So the plans for the recharging station at the house you put on hold right now?
Yes, absolutely.
I just thought, I didn't know you had the.
No supercharger for me.
Well, no, I did want to. I was waiting to see you all week because the President of the United States and
Through it.
yes,
EPA.
yeah, EPA from Oklahoma. The
Former AG.
Yes, the continued rolling back of these terrible, terrible regulations that is freeing up an industry.
Education. Betsy DeVos doing the same thing.
Right.
Interior. Ryan Zinke doing
Right.
the same thing. I mean, yeah.
We can't take
This
it.
stuff is rolling back, and you're going to see the results of this not this year, not next year, maybe in the third year of administration, and thereafter. I mean, he just has to keep doing it, and it was a campaign.
I mean, we
process.
got to keep supporting him, and we do. We
Yes.
really do. What do you got?
I'm going with the community today. Blue Ridge has got some beautiful weather this weekend.
Yes.
We've got Art in the Park, which is one of the largest festivals that the city entertains. We'll have thousands of people here. We want to all be good ambassadors to the guests because that's what drives this engine here. And we've got the Apple
mean give up?
Festival in LJ.
Yes.
Does
Apple-
that mean give up your parking space to a visitor?
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. Give up my parking spot, my dedicated parking spot. That was gone, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we've got the Apple Fest in LJ, and you're going to have a booth down
Yeah.
there. Sam will be manning the booth right now, I believe, right? She's
Well, they're
probably
setting
gearing
up today. Lonnie and Sam have a full day of setup down there, and
Good.
they're ready to go.
And then
Lonnie
next
launches
week-
a new show. Richie and Lonnie and Sam launching a new show this weekend.
Cool.
Shouldn't we have a hard cider or something this morning?
No, we shouldn't have a hard cider. No, we shouldn't have a hard cider.
Okay, a soft cider.
Yeah.
Soft cider.
Yeah, we have a high just being here.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then next week we got Paws in the Park. Humane Society of Blue Ridge will be sporting animals, and all of the veterinary clinics will be represented for the first time. Every veterinary clinic in the area will be represented, doing different things, chipping dogs and vaccinations. So come on out and see it.
Well, folks, we're gonna take a break. Jason's gonna come in. We're gonna take like 4 or 5 minutes just to run down on what's going on this Friday night before our Pet of the Week from the Humane Society. But I want to say this, okay, before we close. Forget all the politics, okay? You know how it is if you're a sports fan out there. If you were wearing your lucky socks that night, you can't change the socks, right? If you know how it is, all right? You got to go with it. Sports fans understand this, okay? If the couch pillow was over here the night the team won, it's got to be over here again. Well, the other night I'm watching the Yankees game and I was smoking a very expensive cigar.
Yes.
No cheap cigars, expensive.
One of two.
Yeah, wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
God almighty. He's had the hard side.
I know.
So I'm smoking a very expensive cigar.
Fly the W.
As the Yankees are playing the Cleveland Indians, right? And I'm like, could this just be a fluke, right? So I happen to have a second very expensive cigar.
Oh, yeah.
The second one. So I tried it again last night. See, hey, could this go be a
Ba-boom.
back-to-back?
Yeah.
So last night I went with the second most expensive cigar I think I've ever smoked. A win! All I'm letting you know is I'm out.
Oh,
and if you
yeah,
want the Cubs
yeah,
to win,
we got a dear,
you better belly up.
we've got a
right?
dear friend that,
Yeah. I got to, I'm just letting him know if he wants the Cubs to win.
We have
found the cue.
We got a mutual dear friend who had surgery, and the doctor said no cigars for a while. So he's been nice to just kind of push them to the left.
This is such
To
a
the left.
power grab. I can't believe it.
That's right.
I'm your host. This has to be over. We'll be right back. Jason's going to be in here. High school football, we want to talk about that in our Pet of the Week. Don't leave us now. Take us to break.